Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Sunday, the 27th of December 2020, and we're publishing the fourth episode in a new series of Bitcoin versus gold and silver, a series which will be published each Sunday for the next few months. Now, we appreciate not everyone is interested in Bitcoin, but it is a competitor to gold and silver investment. And so we seriously suggest you listen to this series so that you can at least appreciate a competitive resource to our much cherished belief in precious metals. Bitcoin versus gold and silver is a fascinating subject, becoming increasingly more relevant as since we began this series, Bitcoin has jumped from one record high to another. We've also seen a considerable number of channels now commenting on Bitcoin, and even investors and hedge fund managers like Anthony Scaramucci are now regarding Bitcoin as a legitimate investment asset class or hedge. We've listed below 3 episodes that we've produced so far. That's episodes 1 to 3. A quick recap. In episode 1, we explained why we launched this series and why people found Bitcoin attractive. In episode 2, we confirmed that the equity market is worth approximately $85 trillion. The tradable gold market is approximately worth $1.5 trillion, and the tradable silver market just $60 billion. While Bitcoin market capitalization, when Bitcoin was valued at $18,000 only a month ago, was valued at $350 billion US. We can now add another $150 billion to that figure today, making it $500 billion. That's just Bitcoin, let alone all of the other, literally thousands of cryptocurrencies, because Bitcoin is now trading at $26,600. We also covered in episode 2, what is Bitcoin, how does it work, how do people get into Bitcoin, how are they created, why are Bitcoins regarded as valuable, and why people want them, and are they secure. Then in episode 3, that's last week's episode, we highlighted a non-exhaustive list of the disadvantages of Bitcoin, which, the disadvantages are very similar to other cryptocurrencies. And these included 1. Security, 2. Reputational risk due to black market operations, 3. Susceptible to high price volatility, 4. No chargebacks or refunds when using Bitcoin, unlike with a credit card, 5. Potential to be replaced by superior or government-backed and supported cryptocurrencies or digital currency alternatives, 6. Environmental ills of Bitcoin mining, and 7. Bitcoin having no actual intrinsic value. Now today, we were going to talk about the intrinsic value nature of precious metals, but have decided to publish those next week. The reason being is that currently, a number of investment managers are now recommending Bitcoin, and it may be prescient or appropriate to look at this in more depth today before moving to the virtues of precious metals. Now, we mentioned earlier former White House Communications Director Anthony Scaramucci, a man who runs a global investment firm based in New York City called Skybridge Capital, which has over $7 billion worth of assets under management, and have provided Anthony Scaramucci with an estimated personal net worth of $200 million. Now, in one of our earlier episodes, we pointed out that Anthony was going to move into the Bitcoin space very soon, and potentially beginning his own fund. Now, this is exactly what he has done, and made public just 4 days ago, placing $25 million into it, and the fund being open to other investors starting on the 4th of January 2021. Fidelity Digital Assets is the Bitcoin back office and storage mechanism, and Scaramucci further claims that Skybridge is running a full Bitcoin node. Now, Scaramucci said his fund structure will give investors exposure to Bitcoin's net asset value while avoiding the premiums extracted by the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, known as the GBTC. Grayscale is a CoinDesk sister company. Quote, "This will be a way for us to democratize Bitcoin, like we did the hedge fund industry a decade ago," unquote, he said. Scaramucci also is quoted as stating that he and Michael Saylor have developed a very close relationship over the past few months, and credited the MicroStrategy CEO, whose firm now holds over $1 billion in Bitcoin, as an inspiration for starting the new fund. Now, Business Insider has quoted the following, and it's worth just taking a few excerpts from it. Quote, "After Bitcoin's 200% rally this year, investors may be hesitant to buy the cryptocurrency right now, in fear that a post-rally pullback is on the way. But Scaramucci said Bitcoin is in its early innings, and he wants to get in before the price soars even higher. We could be at the precursor of an avalanche of institutional investors heading in," Scaramucci said in a Tuesday CNBC interview. He added, "There may be a large swathe of investors buying Bitcoin in the first quarter of 2021 because they didn't want to put it on their balance sheets in 2020. The Skybridge Capital founder also said, "Bitcoin will be a very strong asset class over the next decade given the monetary supply and current central banking coordination." Skybridge joins a growing group of institutional players that are acknowledging Bitcoin's legitimacy as a store of value. Last month, Guggenheim filed to serve the right for 10% of its $5.3 billion Macro Opportunities Fund to invest in the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Other firms like MassMutual have invested in the cryptocurrency as well. Meanwhile, billionaire investors such as Stanley Druckenmiller and Paul Tudor Jones have publicly discussed their Bitcoin purchases. Now, the reason we quote Scaramucci is not because he is necessarily the most successful of hedge fund managers or runs the most successful hedge fund. In fact, his fund is classed as one of the more conservative in the investment space. Scaramucci was not a Bitcoin fan or believer, but even he now accepts it's an asset class that has to be considered. And in our view, if he can be persuaded, then many more will also follow suit. Now, seeing and witnessing the take-up of Bitcoin is what many in the gold and silver space wanted to see major investors and funds do for precious metals. And there has been, as we've seen, some move in that area, pushing gold to all-time highs a few months ago, albeit it hasn't so far happened to silver, although it has reached highs for a couple of years. Now, for those pumpers who say that Bitcoin is not a competitor, frankly, they're either misleading you deliberately or they're just ignorant. It is a competitor for funds that could easily have moved into our favorite precious metals. The issue for many now is, of course, is this sustainable? And are people jumping on the bandwagon way too late? We don't think so. There are still a huge number of firms which haven't given Bitcoin a second glance so far. But perhaps these recent moves might encourage them to do so. And again, whether any of us, you or us, plan to invest in Bitcoin or not doesn't matter. It's what others are doing which could affect the price of our precious metals, or at least inhibit the positive price impact on precious metals that, as these monies that have gone into cryptos and Bitcoin in particular, could have been heading our way. It's impossible to totally calculate, but it is reasonable to assume that a fair proportion of them would have gone into gold and silver. Now, next week we shall look at the intrinsic nature of gold and silver and why we regard it as a superior asset class compared with Bitcoin, even though its price performance might suggest differently. What do you think? Do share your thoughts. Now, we've provided links to all of these videos below. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our channel. Not forgetting to press the bell sign so you're notified of our videos as and when they're published. And also a brief reminder to those who haven't joined our Richard and Greg channel to again click the link below and pop over to that channel and subscribe as we discuss many of the other issues, mainly political or economic, but not necessarily related to precious metals, in order to keep this channel as pure as possible. Thank you once again. What do you think of our analysis this week for next week? And do share your thoughts. Meanwhile, thank you so much for listening. And if you haven't already done so, please do subscribe to our channel, because less than 40% of viewers are actual subscribers, which is a great testament to those who are not subscribing actually viewing our videos. But it would help if you subscribe and press the bell sign, because you will then be notified of our videos as and when they're published. And we also produced a video on the Richard and Greg channel outlining the details of the Brexit package agreed between the United Kingdom and the European Union. We hope you have found this video interesting and informative, and if so, please give it a thumbs up and share it on social media. Please ensure that you have subscribed to our channel and press the bell sign so that you are notified of any future videos. Also, kindly visit our website at illuminatisilver.com, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe either as a free or paying member for regular email updates and offers. Disclaimer: Illuminati Silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.